Welcome to Calling All Geeks, and thanks for answering the call. I'm Flynn, and joining me as always, Chris from DZ Comics.
Yep, it's me, your boy, back at it with Flynn.
Your boy back at it.
It's me. What are you doing, buddy? Holy crap.
Not much, not much. Look, today I want to talk about villains.
Oh, okay.
Let's just start this thing off with
The
what
best
is
villain.
your top 5, or better yet, what are your top 3
Top 3.
all-time villains?
TikTok, okay. Well, the Joker is my favorite villain of all time. Like, I think that's kind of like one of those, like, oh, of course it's the Joker. But it's just like, he's just so good. He's just so good. It's hard to be, like, we talked last episode about how well Batman has been created. And how well, like, that's why he's one of the most popular superheroes of all time. But villains don't get that same thing. There's not like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like everyone's like wearing Dr. Octavius gear, right? No one's wearing Green Goblin gear. But everyone likes the Joker. It's really, I'm not saying like there aren't other villains, but some villains like the Venom, he's not, like, he's got a really kind of obscure morality. Sometimes he's a hero, sometimes he's a good guy, but he's really cool. But it's different. Joker's on this whole different spectrum of like villainy. And I just think that he is the best villain. He's got the best character arcs. He's got the best. He's just so good.
Well, let me stop you right there before you get running too far.
Okay.
Who are the other 2?
Well, okay, I got to think about it a little bit. While I'm thinking, why don't you tell me what your number 1 is?
Well, I have 3 villains. They're in no particular order.
Okay.
Of course, the Joker's on the list.
See, yeah.
And we can get into that in a minute. Of course, you know, Darth Vader.
Oh, okay. I was just thinking of, I don't know why, I mean, this is going to sound stupid. I don't know why I was just thinking about comic book villains, even though he's in a comic book.
Any type of villain.
Damn, fucking.
And my third, as you probably already know, is Harley Quinn.
Yes.
And I know there is some debate that she's kind of an anti-hero.
Yeah, that's fine.
She's not a hero, so I'm still throwing her in the villain category.
Well, the thing is, the term anti-hero is a person who doesn't want to be a hero, but is thrown into situations where they do heroic things. Like, she doesn't. I think she's more of an anti-villain. Like, deep down, outside of her interactions with the Joker, and obviously she doesn't give a shit about doing terrible things, but she doesn't go out of her way like, I'm just gonna murder a shit ton of people. She really just is. If she's not with the Joker, everything she kind of does, at least in my experience, is a little more on the petty side. Like thieving or beating the shit out of people.
She's more of an anti-hero now in her own comic because she wants to do good. She wants to help, but there's times when she deals with bad guys.
And she just does that.
She falls back on her old ways.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But she's not a hero because she doesn't have those morals like a Batman or Superman.
Yeah, I know.
They're not going to kill.
It's like Catwoman, but more evil or more bad. Yeah. No, she's a great character. She's definitely an honorable mention for me.
An honorable mention.
I have an honorable mention, but well, that's fine. I have 2 others, but I do have one honorable mention. Okay.
Well, I imagine we can come up with about 20 honorable mentions.
Sure, that's why I'm only going to come up with 1.
But that's why we just want to know your top 3.
Okay. I really like Reverse Flash. Like Eobard Thawne. Not the new, like, the one from the New 52 with, like, a black armor and stuff. Like, I know he's still Reverse Flash. I'm talking about classic Professor Zoom. He is kick-ass. He is, like, when it comes to villainy, like, Joker's fucked up. Reverse Flash is fucked up. Did you see that animated movie? It was with, I don't know what it was called, but Suicide Squad was definitely a big part of it. And they had to get this item. And pretty much
Suicide Squad versus Justice League?
No, not, it was, no. I don't know if they may have made a movie. But Suicide Squad was like the good guy portion. And then they were fighting like Reverse Flash. They were fighting like Killer Frost and all these other people that are like bad guys. It was like bad guys versus bad guys pretty much, and they were all hunting this one item, and the item was like a get out of hell free card, and everyone wanted it because they were all bad guys. But the Reverse Flash, he had a bullet in his head, and he was the same Reverse Flash from the Flashpoint movie. When Thomas Wayne shoots him in the head, and Barry goes back and fixes time, well, Thawne doesn't die. He lives, and he tries. It's really cool. You should watch it, but like, I don't know. There's something about him. Like, he's really kind of messed up, and he's got all the powers of Flash, and he's unkillable. Like, I know all comic book characters are kind of unkillable. They'll come back in some stupid way, but he's actually unkillable because it is explained that he's diluted the timeline so much because of his time travel that he's in every point in time at all times.
Yeah, you never know what version you're dealing with.
Yeah, because like if you read Blackest Night,
you kill him now,
he's still alive in a different timeline, and he can be aware of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he's just unkillable because of that. Like, so if you read Blackest Night, there was Flash was fighting Reverse Flash, even though Reverse Flash was still alive. And they explained, like, oh, you broke my neck. And then, like, an old comic book, you saw that Flash broke Reverse Flash's neck. So he died, but Reverse Flash is still alive. It was really interesting. He's just really cool and really fucked up. And Reverse Flash, boys. Really good. I don't think I have a favorite villain that's on the Marvel side, so.
Yeah, that was kind of a similar thing they did with the Reverse Flash in the Flash TV series.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they had dealt with the Reverse Flash for a little bit, and then they killed him. But that was only the beginning of the story. Because, like you said, this is what version? You haven't seen the other versions that you're going to experience in your future, his past.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's like I said, he's like none of the other speedsters are like that. Like villain speedsters, they don't concern themselves, but he's just so cool. Yeah, Reverse Flash.
So who's number 3? You got the Joker, you got the Reverse Flash. What's number 3?
And so, as I just said a second ago, I really don't have a villain on the Marvel side of things that I'm like, oh my god, yes, they have a book. So it's not going to be a surprise when it's another DC villain, and I really like Lex Luthor. Especially nowadays, where he's got this kind of ambiguous hero thing going on. It's like, is it for real? When is he going to betray the Justice League? It's only a matter of time before something stupid happens, or his ultimate plot and he becomes Darkseid. It's just like, it's all this cool stuff.
So you have no hero outside of comics? Or a villain outside of comics?
No, I have my honorable mentions outside of comics.
That was Harley Quinn.
No, that's yours. That's not mine.
What's your honorable mentions?
Prince Humperdinck from Princess Bride. What a guy. That dude's a true hero. That dude is incredible. And that's for real. I'm not joking on that shit.
I love that movie, but you mean he's a true villain.
Oh, he's a true villain. That dude's a dick. I say the reason why I like him so much is because the movie's so crazy. And I'm going to go on a little tangent. There's one scene in that movie, and it's sealed the deal for me. Wesley, they're doing the Battle of Wits, and he's got this thing. He's got a little canister of poison, and he describes it as odorless, tasteless, and dissolved instantly in liquid. And it's called iocane powder. And so what happens is he kills this one guy with this powder. And then, like, you don't really know how much time passes. Maybe a few hours pass, and Prince Humperdinck comes to the scene, and he's sketching out the crime scene, and he sees, oh, there's a drink. There's not even the bottle of poison. Like, that's just somewhere else. It's just the drink that Wesley put the poison in. He sniffs the drink. He's like, oh, it's iocane powder. And it's like, what the fuck do you mean? He didn't even take him 3 seconds to get that guess. And he got it right. That dude's crazy. So, yeah, Prince Humperdinck. Yeah, well, I know, but
I think that's a joke.
I know, the whole movie is amazing, but it's just like, my God, what a great villain. That's 100% true.
There's a reason I brought up villains today.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know if you've heard, but DC is doing a movie about the Joker.
A movie? Oh, yeah, I think I heard about this. Who's the actor?
Joaquin Phoenix.
I don't even know who that is. Hold on.
Well, you're probably more familiar with him from Gladiator. He plays the Emperor.
Oh, shit. Yeah. I'm pulling up right now.
So,
Oh my God, he's gonna play the Joker. That's not his picture of the Joker. No.
well, look, this is supposed to be an origin story, and this is what I wanted to talk about: is do we need an origin story for the Joker?
Here's the thing. I think this is the cool thing about the Joker. If they really wanted to, they can make a trilogy, and every movie is an origin story. Wouldn't that be cool? Because that's the thing. That's the obscurity with the Joker, right? Is that he doesn't even know his own origin story. But
Well,
I will have a problem right now. If that's his makeup, that's gonna frustrate me.
I mean, look, it's an origin story. Who knows?
I
And
guess that's true.
I'm always against origin stories. They take up too much of the movie. You never get the action. Not, I guess Joker's a really different uh, character. He's not going to be much action. But look, it all comes down to what do you like in a villain?
What do I like in a villain?
Well, what is it about villains that are appealing to you? Like, what's your flavor of style? So, to give you an example, like, I like the Joker. Uh, One is his mysteriousness of it.
Yeah.
So for years, we never knew what was behind the paint. Now,
It wasn't even paint all the time.
but through the years, we've seen more of his face, and we've little tidbits of where he's come from, and this and that in the comics. But the mystery is always what fascinated me about the Joker. You know, you never know what this guy's going to do. Like, we always see the Joker as being this guy that's up to the border of insanity and sanity, and he's crossed it, drove 1,000 miles in, and set up residence. But sometimes I think maybe the Joker ain't as crazy as he portrays to be. Maybe that's
Like
just
he's so crazy, he's sane.
or maybe he's just not that crazy, but he gives that perception that he is, because that way you never know what he's going to do. Like, for example, we've seen the Joker go to some great limits and then pull back. But then we've seen times where he's just crossed that line, killed Jason Todd, for example.
Yeah.
Didn't see it coming, didn't expect it. And so when we get going into an origin story, my fear is that we're going to make this villain more, we're going to get to his humanity. He's going to become more human. We're going to give explanations to why.
Yeah,
he
that's a
thinks
good
the way
point.
he thinks,
That's
to
I
what-
see
to
what you're
why
saying.
he
Yeah.
is the way he does. And then now there's no mystery. There's no wondering, like I sit on the edge of my seat sometimes not knowing, is he going to pull the trigger or not? But if I know how he thinks, I'm going to think, oh, he ain't going to pull the trigger.
Yeah, that
And
was
then
one of
ruins it.
yeah, that was one of my problems when they were like when what's his face got on the Mobius chair, Batman, and he's like, "Who's the Joker?" And then they kind of explained it a little bit how there's multiple Jokers. I hated that. I was like,
Right.
no, you should have just left it in obscurity, or at least have Batman know the answer, but never go into details on it, because that is one of the big appeals of Joker. He's so mysterious. You don't know. Even now, even though they've explained a little more of his story, he's still super mysterious. But
Super. You have no idea what he's going to do.
yeah.
I mean, who would have thought he'd ever team up with Batman?
Oh, me, but because I thought it would be kick ass, and I'm sure they thought it would be too.
Right,
But for different,
some of us
that's
would
more
think-
meta thinking than actual actually trying to think about it. Yeah.
Right, but you wouldn't think it could happen, or even if you thought it could happen, it doesn't mean it could happen.
Yeah.
He's such an oddball in what he does. And there's the reason, when I mentioned my other villains like Darth Vader, for years we didn't know what was under the mask. Was he human? Was he alien? Was he robot? That kind of creates that fear that you don't know what he is, how he thinks, how far he will go.
Yeah.
Harley Quinn the same way, how much of a nut job is she? How many screws does she have loose? Sometimes she's compassionate, other times she she just goes right off the deep end.
Yeah. No, I agree. I don't know what features about when it comes to so the question is, what do I look for in my villains? It's kind of harder than I'd like to admit. it's like the Joker is definitely my top, but it's like I couldn't tell you. Like, yeah, he's mysterious, but like all the traits I like about him are not traits I like in, like, say, Lex Luthor. I like Lex Luthor for completely different reasons than I like the Joker. But the thing is, Lex Luthor is just as, I guess, so unpredictability, I guess, is the big thing, right? Because, like, Lex Luthor, he's not, I mean, I guess in a way he's insane, but the thing is, he doesn't come off as insane, or at least not in the same level as the Joker, obviously. Probably more so on the line of, like, the Riddler. Maybe not even that. But the thing is, like, Lex Luthor's so conniving, so tricksy, you don't know what his actual endgame is. Like, why did, like, okay, so you read Forever Evil, and you get why he's fighting the evil Justice League. Because deep down, his biggest motive is he's afraid of Superman. What do we do if Superman is not a good guy? Not saying Lex Luthor's always been a good guy. He's obviously been a dickhead. But ultimately, and this is going to sound stupid or maybe crazy, his beliefs or his fears are, in essence, good. He is thinking for mankind because he is part of that. He's looking out for himself, but while looking out for himself, he's looking out for the world because he does care, but he's afraid of Superman. So you get that predictability, but when Forever Evil came out, he was beating he fought the evil Justice League, or whatever you want to call them, the crime syndicate, and then he pretty much joined the Justice League. Like, Batman vouched for him and stuff, and he's kept up with it. He's still a good guy, and it's like, why? And you can tell there's all this tension between Superman and Lex Luthor because of their past, but it's like, what is his endgame? I don't know. I've always been a sucker for anti-heroes, or whatever you want to call them. Lex Luthor is definitely more of an anti-hero than Harley Quinn, because he is somebody who is evil and is doing good things to further his evil goals.
I see Lex Luthor predictable.
I think ultimately he is predictable, but like I don't know what his scheme is. I know what his end goal is.
I just have no idea what his end game is, but what I know is that if he shows up to a funeral, give his condolences, he could care less about those people or who's in that
Sure,
office.
it's just an act. Yeah.
How can he turn this situation into a situation that favors him?
Yeah, no, you're right. I'm not saying that that's unpredictable. I'm just saying, like, his ultimate scheme, like, it's so convoluted at this point. Because I can't see from this point into forever Lex Luthor is a pseudo good guy. That would be insane. It would be cool, but it's just like, man, no, at some point he's going to be a bad guy again. And he's going to, like, decimate things. Like, I just like Lex Luthor. He's pretty much Tony Stark, but bad guy. That's exactly what he is, actually.
I think everything he's doing is all part of his plan.
Oh, yeah, of course. There's no way it's not.
The thing with Lex Luthor is he's always 2 or 3 steps ahead. He always has a plan A, B, C, D, multiple parts. Everything is all working toward an end game.
Yeah,
so
yeah, you're right.
If good, something's wrong. It's just all part of whatever his end game is.
Yeah, it's kind of like the whole thing where he became the president. Like, he earned everyone's trust, and he ultimately just wanted to kill Superman.
Exactly. That was the end game. And he played whatever game he had to do to get there.
And I guarantee he's going to do the same thing. Like, he's part of the Justice League. He's doing all this good stuff. I guarantee he's going to try and become the leader of the Justice League and then get the Justice League to try and kill Superman or something like that. Yeah, something like that. But that just sounds so cool. Lex Luthor, like I said, like Joker I like because he's unpredictable. But Lex Luthor I like because he's predictable. But they're just so convoluted. I guess that would be the trait that I like in my villains is complexity and convolutedness. Who was the other villain I said? Reverse Flash. He's kind of the same way. Like, he's super evil, but like sometimes his goals are really strange. Like, yeah, he like at one point he just wanted to replace Barry Allen. That was like one of the early things, right? Like, he was so obsessed with Barry Allen that he just wanted to get rid of Barry Allen so he could become the Flash. He wanted to be the good guy, but he's obviously gone so far that he doesn't care about killing people now. He's ultimately evil, but he just wants to hurt Barry Allen. And he's very unpredictable in a lot of the stuff he does too.
Well, let me ask you this: what about Humperdinck?
Humperdinck? I just think I like him just because it's crazy. Like, he's super one-dimensional. Like, he's not complex in any way. I just was like, wow, that one scene was just so ridiculous. I just couldn't help but like that character. That's really what that is. It's just like, my God, what a badass.
But he's predictable as well because he's always going to be the weasel.
Oh yeah.
He's always going to cower and run.
When it comes down to when it comes to villainy, he's a pretty shit villain. But I just liked him. Because the thing is, like, they set him up as this ultimate hunter. Like, clearly, how do you guess his poison in 3 seconds like that? Yeah, I know it's a joke. The whole movie is really a joke, to be honest. But it's just like, I just love it. It was just that movie. If we ever want to talk about best movie that ever made, that is like a number 1 almost. Princess Bride is so good. But
it's
so I have
up to the test of time.
Yeah, I have different things I look for in my villains, and I like different attributes, I guess. But Darth Vader's another really good one. Like he's really a complex character. I would say he's more complex than any of the ones I said because of his history, especially
not at first.
Well, no, yeah, before episode 1, 2, and 3, he was just a bad guy who killed people.
Not in the original trilogy, but over the course of time, when you start adding the prequels and you start bringing in the Clone Wars.
Yeah, it really, like, how do you so quickly over love? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a super relatable thing. I guess that's why people like Batman, right? Because it's super relatable. Like, his parents died, what would you do? It's the same thing. Your wife is threatened in a way. What would you do? And that's why he's so sympathetic, even though, like, you see almost every single comic book, he has got this huge Lex Luthor scheme to try and kill the Emperor. And it never fucking works.
I guess Vader, at the beginning, is more just a Jason Voorhees, huh?
Yeah. No, yeah, right. Totally.
He's just got this one-track mind, and that's get the rebels.
Uh-huh.
Chase the rebels down. Chase the rebels down.
Mm-hmm.
But then it becomes more complex over time.
Yeah, like he doesn't even care about the rebel. He just wants the Emperor to die, but he can never put himself in a position where it's safe. It's like he's super brave, but he's a coward. It's super weird.
Yeah, it's a strange story, but
yeah, Darth Vader's
for
really
me,
good.
it was always the mystery of just not knowing that whole.
And I guess the mystery still upholds, because even though we know who Anakin is, like his plots in the comic books specifically, it's like, my God, you got to read like 20 books just to get where his actual plan was. It's so deep, and it has to be because the Emperor is so vast. He's so smart, so you have to be like really thinking way convolutedly in order to beat the Emperor. So,
that's a story that goes beyond where the movies are.
Oh yeah. Way, yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to be a fan of that, what is the Legacy series now, the old continuity.
I mean, a lot of the new books elaborate on that too, but yeah, there's a lot more content when it comes to this specific thing. Like that, what I'm referring to, there's more plotting that's been fleshed out before than Legacies, but they've still kept that. If you read all the Darth Vader stuff, like especially like the first series they came out with in the last few years, it was that's pretty much what his thing was. He wanted to set himself up so he can kill the Emperor, but the Emperor was 2 steps ahead of him every time. And it's kind of that way now. It's more him hunting Jedi now, but you could still see that there's plotting involved. It's really good. That's one of the few Marvel titles out that I think that they have done.
Hunting Jedi was this the Order 66?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's the remaining Jedi anyway. That's what his whole thing is. Most of the Order 66 has been this thing, and now he's just hunting the stragglers that they get little tips on.
Okay. I don't read the comics.
It's pretty good.
Stuff, so.
Like I said, there's not a lot of Marvel books out there that I think are that great, but Darth Vader, I think they've nailed it. Every single issue has been a success. I've not been disappointed with Darth Vader, and he's one of those iconic villains. Like if they start fucking up the Joker like they did in the middle of the New 52, it's a shitstorm. But they've really nailed it good with the Darth Vader stuff. Really good.
What are you talking about messing up the Joker?
There's the Death in the Family, or Death of the Family. They're very
Oh,
close
by
titles.
rewriting the story?
Well, he cut his face off. That was the thing that really
Right.
pissed me off. Because after that, to me, one of the things I really like about the Joker is his visuals. There's a lot of times when you look at the Joker in comic books, and sometimes I'm taken aback because there's so many different styles for this one character, and it kind of frustrates me. When I think of the Joker, the Arkham Asylum Joker is like, that's a perfect model. Like, everything about that, the way they designed that model in that game is perfect. But they can't do that in the comic books for some reason. He looks off for some reason in a lot of books. Even now, he had like this really slick hair. I mean, he looked fine recently, but like they cut his face off. And when they did that, in every panel he was in, I just couldn't stand looking at it. Not just because it was disturbing. It was definitely disturbing, but it looked stupid. Every scene where he was like laughing, it's like, what? Why? Like, are you trying to drive home the fact that you're crazy? Yeah, you're fucking crazy. But now you're stupid. Who the fuck cuts their face off? What were you trying to... What was... And then you put it back on your face. Like, that's just dumb. I hated that arc.
I mean, Joker's daughter had it for a while.
Which was even dumber. I don't like Joker's daughter either. Yeah, like... I know I think it's Death of the Family. It's a good story, but that detail... I wish they'd do a remastering where they just got rid of that panel of him cutting his face off, and then they just redrew his face properly. It would, to me, it'd be better. That's a personal critique. I could not stand artistically the way that looked. Ugh, it was so bad. Pissed me off for years. Still pisses me off. Clearly.
Yeah, I don't know what DC's doing. You bring up Death of the Family. I was just thinking, I don't know what they're doing with they stories. These, I mean, like the Death of Superman, which was wonderfully done in its day. Did it really need to be rewritten? Did Death of the Family need to be rewritten?
Well,
I guess I kind of understand Death of the Family because they wanted to keep maybe Barbara Gordon around. But I just don't understand it.
Death in the Family. God, it's been so long since I've read that, so I don't even remember what happened in Death in the Family. But isn't that when Jason Todd dies? I think that's what happens. Death in the Family is when Jason Todd dies. Death of the Family is like Joker's trying to like destroy the Bat family. Like completely.
Right. Right, but there's similarities. It's almost they're rewriting the story because the first time he shoots Barbara Gordon, she has the wheelchair becomes Oracle.
Yeah, she's still not Oracle. There is no Oracle right now, is there?
No, because Batgirl's back. Because they rewrote the story, she never got shot.
Oracle is much better than Batgirl. I'm just saying.
Well, you still have a Batgirl if you have Oracle. Because there's a couple Batgirls,
Yeah, I guess that's true. Barbara Gordon is better as Oracle than Batgirl.
Yeah. I mean,
talk about designs that were like a little bit out of left field. It was like in the middle of the New 52, they did that whole redesign of Batgirl. They you know what I mean? They made her like super young and.
Are you talking about with the biker suit?
Maybe that's what it was. I don't know how to describe it. I didn't like the way it looked. And it drives home creepiness when you watch the Killing Joke movie around the same time. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, I was reading Batgirl for the New 52. Was it Gail Simone was writing that? It was done really well, dark Gotham. And then they brought in a new writer. I can't remember who it was.
I'm pretty sure when they brought in the new writer, that's when it got really... That's when they did the whole redesign of the outfit.
Yes, they redesigned the outfit. They brought in it was real colorful. She was having slumber parties.
Yeah, they made her like way more teen. Here it is. What issue number is this?
What the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
And that's when I just
issue number 50. That's what it is. Yeah, they made her like super teeny, and I hated it too.
Yeah, well, DC's always trying to appeal to a younger audience, but I don't think they understand that They don't have any money.
Oh yeah, they don't. Which is, I think, why Marvel
Why?
is struggling too, because they're doubling down on this whole political correct, younger audience thing, and those aren't the people who are buying comics.
No, and even as a kid, I mean, when I was a kid, Batman wasn't 16, Flash wasn't 18. They were grown men, and I was still interested in the stories.
Yeah.
I don't know why they have to make everything. Again, I mean, it's just pandering to an audience that ain't buying the comics. I mean, it's people my age, your age, that has the disposable income to buy that stuff. It's not the kids. If you want to do anything, make it family friendly. Something that it appeals to the adults. It can appeal to the kids, and they can do it together.
Yeah, I agree.
But just to go with all these teenager heroes, like.
Well, I don't even mind teenager heroes. Design them that way. Batgirl, I don't think was initially designed that way.
No, yeah, no, you're right. But I'm talking about they're redesigning everyone young. Like if you have the teen that's a hero, it's fine. But when you take a 40-year-old man like Batman and say, "Oh, now he's 20," no, he's not.
He at the very least got to be 32. Yeah, with that much experience, there's no way he's 20.
32. That's a very specific year.
Yeah, well, I mean, it
Very
makes sense
specific
though.
age there.
Yeah.
Where'd you come up with that number?
It just seemed right. Someone
32,
who left Gotham, did a lifelong, became a master of every martial art form. Yeah, probably 32.
Sure, not 33.
No, I don't think you need that much
What if
time.
he was an overachiever and he got it by 31?
Hey, well, maybe that makes more sense. Yeah.
All right, so that's your list then. Those three.
I mean, I have other honorable mentions if you want to go into it, but yeah, I would say those are when it comes to, again, when I think of villains, especially as a comic book store owner, comic book villains are the ones that jump out. Now, there's tons of other villains that I like Ganondorf's one of my favorite video game bad guys, for example.
Who?
Ganondorf.
Ganon.
Did you ever play Legend of Zelda?
Many years ago.
So Ganon, the pig, the big pig thing you fight?
Oh.
Yeah, that's his human form, is Ganondorf.
How did that become a hero or villain that you favor in your life?
I just like him. I just think he's all he is pure evil, and he's designed as a badass. That's it.
Do you even have enough content on him to know that?
Yeah.
From that video game?
Yeah. Oh well, it's not just the one video game. There's tons of video games with Ganondorf in it. Yeah, there's enough to go on, but is he as fleshed out as the Joker? No, hell no. Because all he is this, he's this brute who got magical powers, and he's able to contest the gods, and he's just evil, pure and simple, and he just wants to control the world, and there's only one person who can stop him, and that's Link, and that's what happens every time.
You're
That's
not
it.
saying he's two-dimensional, are you?
Oh, he's hella two-dimensional, yeah.
That was a little pun.
Shut up.
It was like the...
Ganondorf is three-dimensional because he came out in the N64 era. Ganon's...
two-dimensional. It was still a two-dimensional game.
Ocarina of Time?
Staring down at it.
No, the thing is, you're thinking of the original Legend of Zelda. I'm talking Ocarina of Time on the N64. That was the 3D game.
First person or something?
No, it's still third person, but it's not from overhead. It's more over the shoulder. Like traditional. Man, my God, you've never played it? I mean, I'm not a huge Legend of Zelda fan, but I'm surprised.
No, I've never played that version.
There's pretty much Ocarina of Time and forward, a lot of the big Zelda games have been in that same kind of vein. But again, Sinestro's another good one I really like. Loki, I guess you could argue, is a villain, but he's a little more obscure nowadays. I've always liked the design of that character.
Loki is a villain.
Yeah, but
there's no doubt about it.
Well, sure. Classic Loki. Classic Loki. I think they're trying. Well, it's been a while since I've read a Thor book, so forgive me. But they did that whole thing where it's you have evil Loki, and then you have younger Loki, and they're two different Lokis. One is before he became evil, and that's who he is now. And he's more obscure in his evilness. He's more of just a trickster. which I get, but I like that version for the movies. Like in the movies, Loki was obviously he's a bad guy in the first Avengers, but I'm a sucker for redemption arc shit. So when there's like this small chance that Loki will team up with Thor and then do the right thing, and like fight Thanos and all this cool shit, like, I like that. I think it's why I like Lex Luthor right now a lot, because he's like that
really
Superman.
Doing the right thing.
Yeah, again, it's obscure, obviously probably only for his own entrance.
His own
sure, but you get what I'm saying. It's like a pseudo redemption arc. I'm a sucker for that. That's why Lex Luthor's kind of in this area right now with me. I'm really enjoying him because he's in this hero phase, huge quotations. But that's why I like movie Marvel Cinematic Loki. I think that is a really good Loki. There was another villain I was thinking of, and now he's lost now. Oh, Khan from Star Trek. I really like Khan. He's really good.
Yes, I'll give you Khan. Yeah,
Khan's good.
Ricardo Multiball.
Yeah, we'll see how many people my age know who that fucker is.
They wouldn't have a clue.
Nobody. It's just me.
You probably it, but yeah.
Well, Shannon, but I showed her.
Role.
Khan is so good.
He made
Wrath of
the role.
Khan.
Was
Definitely one of
just
my favorite movies.
character alone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even if you go back and watch the
original episode.
The episode, yeah, the original series, the episode, it wasn't even as defined as the character was in
the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was really cool. Did you like? I know we're a little segueing here, and we're getting close to time. But did you like the new Star Trek movies? I forget who directed them. The J.J. Abrams ones.
Not at first, but once I realized it was a different timeline, then I somewhat enjoyed them.
Yeah, I mean I agree with you. It being separate is really good. It would not be a good replacement canon, but I really liked the second one. I don't remember what it was the second movie was called, but when Khan was in it again, Beyond with Benedict Cumberbatch. I was like, man, Khan, super kick ass. And again, it was one of those things where it's like he teams up with Kirk, and it's like, fuck yeah, the villain and the hero are teaming up. It's so cool. It's the reason why I like when Joker and Batman were fighting. Batman Who Laughs is like, yeah, something that shouldn't be, but is. And it's super cool. And obviously he portrays Kirk. But I love that movie because of the opposite effect it does, like the obvious playoff it does from the Wrath of Khan. That movie's really good just because of those 20 minutes of that. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Where Kirk sacrifices himself instead of Spock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Everything was changed because it was a different timeline.
It's so good.
Kelvin timeline or something. And
when they do this, when they put fan service into their movies, you can tell it goes a long way, which is why Rogue One is one of my favorite Star Wars movies.
Wow.
I know you disagree.
That's a good place to end it.
Okay, that's fair.
But no, we do have to get out of here. You got any last words?
No. I think I probably talked more than I probably should have. A lot of good villains.
All right. Well, if you like this show, smash the like button. If you're new, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.